Hello parents, this is Chris Allen and I'm here to do my weekly update for the week of April 19th, 2021. This week in geometry, we're looking at angle measures and segment lengths. This example today I'm doing is actually going to be a more difficult example, so I kind of do the easier ones for the geometry class. I thought I'd show one that was a little bit more interesting. So this one involves segment lengths. So these two segments to this circle are called secants, and they intersect out here at this point. And we know that the length of this segment piece is z, this piece is 12, this piece is 4, and this piece is 8, and we're asked to find the value of z. So we're going to use theorem 12.5, and this is graphically the theorem that we're going to use. So it turns out that the product of w and w plus x is equal to the product of y and the sum of y and z. So we're just going to go ahead and use that in this example, kind of in the opposite order there. So we're just going to say that the quantity z plus 12 times z is equal to 4 plus 8 quantity times 4. We'll go and do the distributive property. We're going to get z squared plus 12z equals 48. Subtract the 48 over, and now we have a quadratic equation. Unfortunately, this one is not going to factor, so a student would have to use the quadratic formula, which is reviewed from Algebra 1. And the z value here turns out to be approximately 3.16. In AP Calc AB, we are looking at indeterminate forms and L'Hopital's rule. So an example of when you would want to use that would be this limit here, where we're doing the limit of arctan x over sine x as x goes to 0. Well, if we look at the limit of the numerator, which is the limit of arctan of x as x goes to 0, that's 0. And the limit of the denominator, sine of x as x goes to 0, that's also 0. So that leads us to what we call an indeterminate form 0 over 0. Indeterminate just means that it literally means that this limit could be any value. It could be d and e, but it could be 1, it could be a zillion, it could be 0. Let's see what it is in this case. And here's how L'Hopital's rule works. So basically the original limit is equal to the limit of the derivative of the numerator over the derivative of the denominator. So we're basically going to do the derivative of arctan, which is 1 over 1 plus x squared, and then the derivative of sine x, which is cosine x. Now we can go ahead and just do direct substitution, plugging 0 in here, and we get an answer of 1. So this 0 over 0 indeterminate form actually gave us an answer of 1. And finally, here in AP Calculus BC, we're looking at vectors and vector calculus. So if we have, we're given that the derivative of the vector r is re to the 2t, comma 3e to the t. So this is a vector that's there. There's an x component and there's a y component. They also tell us that the initial condition for this vector is that r is 0 is to 0. So we're trying to figure out what r is. We're given the derivative of r. And remember, r is a vector. That's why it's bolded. So we're going to integrate. So to undo differentiation, we're going to integrate. So our notation is very similar to what we've done in the past. And the integral of 4e to the 2t is 2e to the 2t and 3e to the t, e to the t. And then don't forget the plus c. So that's going to be our general solution, if you will. But we were given the initial value of that r of 0 was 0. So we can just plug in 0 in for our t values. And don't forget we have our plus c. So that gives us 2, 3 plus c. Now that constant gets applied to both the x and the y component of the vector. And so what we can do then is we realize that our initial condition is 2, 0. So what's going to make 2 plus c1 equal to 2? Well, that's going to be 0. So c1 is 0. 3 plus what would give us, in this case, 0? Well, that'd be negative 3. So that gives us our final answer here. Oops. That the vector r of t is equal to 2e to the 2t, comma, 3e to the t minus 3. Final thoughts for the day. This week and last, I've actually shared with my both calculus groups that College Board is having AP daily live review sessions. The BC class, I believe, is at 5 p.m. and the AB classes at 7 p.m., and that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of all this week and all of next week. This is a great opportunity for students to review live on YouTube with some very outstanding calculus teachers. I'd also like to throw out that next week we will have a test, a Chapter 12 test in geometry. This will probably be the last big grade before their final exam in May. And just another final reminder about advisory. I am available during advisory for students that are struggling to get some extra help. So here's those join codes again if you need those. Thank you so much for your attention today. Have a good day.